there's going to be a lot of conspiracy. There's going to be a lot of fear. There's going to be a lot of shadow work that you have to do, that you have to kind of work through. Be honest with your journey. Be honest with yourself. Don't treat the spiritual stuff as like psychic, witchcraft, hippie, living off the land, off grid kind of stuff. That is more advanced. When you're first starting out, you really have to find a balance between being a human in this meat suit and your higher spiritual self. Only once you find a balance can all the other spiritual stuff fall into place. And that's part of why Spirit's constantly testing us to make sure that we have advanced, that we can handle the spiritual, psychic stuff that is going to come with us. But your biggest thing right now, clearing out trauma, clearing out karma, suppressed emotions, finding ways to increase your vibration, your frequency, getting to enlightenment. Enlightenment is quite literally living in the light. That doesn't mean you're always going to be happy. And somebody who is enlightened is very well aware of the shadows that are always lurking, but they're always able to find the light within the dark. And that is the point of enlightenment. It's not like, oh, always happy, always joyful. If you talk to very spiritually advanced people, they're gonna be like insanely honest with their emotions. And that is kind of what I would suggest that you look for in spiritual guides on earth, not your like spiritual ghosty guides. I'm talking about like the people you're gonna come across that you're going to learn from through social media, you're gonna take the courses, whatever the case may be. Make sure that you are looking for people who care about being honest. Go for people who recognize, if people are like, you can be happy all the time. Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. Because every single time that we advance, that we ascend, we go through a dark night of the soul. My dark night of the soul lasted a couple of years because I was so resistant to it. Other people's dark night of the soul can last a few weeks, a few hours. This past year, I feel like I've been advancing really quickly. I've had a lot of time to think the past 10 years and try to figure out what direction I want to go in. And having said yes to my spiritual call and having the correct resources. So for all of you channelers and all you witches out there and like all of you spiritual stuff people that are being very honest, I fucking love the shit out of you. I really do. When I did my, I'm going back to that 10-year thing again, but yeah, so if you are looking for any sort of guide to help you through this, make sure they're honest about the emotions. Make sure that they don't push ideas on you. I keep myself sane and safe by comparing spirituality to religion. If anybody is treating spirituality the way the religion treats religion, to me it's automatically a no. It's automatically propaganda. If I come across somebody who is causing me some sort of fear or doubt, cut them off right away. Maybe it's because I'm not ready for them just yet. Maybe it's because my energy just doesn't agree with them. Maybe it's because they're picking up on other people's. But when you're working with energy, you have to be true to yourself. You have to be true to your own energy and you have to protect it. Protect it by knowing what it's about. Protected by knowing how your energy is happy, how your energy is sad. And again, we're talking about emotions. And emotion is energy in motion. So when you've got that anxiety going through you, and again, please make sure, I want to make sure that you guys know that I'm a huge supportive of mental health therapy, medication if you need it, all of that. I'm a huge supporter. However, I recognize when people are dependent on the medication and the therapist and not actually doing the work through spirituality. So it takes two. It takes two to tango, okay? But yeah, if anything's causing you fear, if anything's causing you to quite literally resist that ascension that's happening to you, if there's anything doing that for you, let go of it. You might come back to it later, probably will, that's totally fine. However, right now you are not in the place to receive that information. And this is where understanding your emotions and going through that emotional intelligence process is very important in spirituality. Having discernment for the information coming towards you. When you really start getting into spirituality and you start kind of understanding your spirit guides and you are into like the tarot readings or any sort of messages from spirit, or how to receive messages from spirit, it's very easy to get wrapped up and sucked into all of this because it's exciting, it's new, and if you're curious about it, if you're feeling called to it, you're gonna want to dive right in. But that could be detrimental or setting you back in your actual ascension. So have discernment, be careful, be honest with your emotions. If you gotta fucking scream, scream. If you wanna dance, dance. If you're somebody who's like, well, I'm suffering with like anxiety and depression, I can't do my ascension. I went on medication a couple of years back because I couldn't do my spirituality anymore. I was in such a deep depression. I had no idea how the fuck to get out of it. I even remember talking to a therapist, my first therapist, and she even said, the way you talk to yourself and about your ideas and your thoughts is the same way their therapist would talk to you. So essentially, I am able to sit there and have therapy with myself. So it's kind of like my higher self is the therapist that I talk to in my head. And while I do promote the therapy and the medication and all that, I still do believe that the lack of spirituality that we have in our society right now is the reason why so many of us are sick. And I'll leave you here with this. When you start to learn and understand how energy works, especially energy emotionally, your emotions, and you start healing emotionally, you realize how much spirituality is actually involved. When you listen to spiritual people talk, whether it's advanced witches doing witchcraft, tarot readers, or just spiritually woke people, when you listen to them talk, pay attention to how they talk about emotions. Pay attention to how they talk about the energy. Emotion. I keep messing this up. I'm sorry. But emotion is energy in motion. So once you start talking to a therapist and then you start talking to a spiritualist, the way that they just kind of like connect is insane. And this past year, I've really recognized that there's such a huge gap between being healthy and spirituality, and they actually do work hand in hand. And you're going to be hearing a lot more, especially holistic doctors, you're going to be hearing a lot more of them talking about spiritual stuff. And this is my thing, meditation came from spirituality. Look up any of those spiritually led religions, just for lack of a better word. You'll notice how much mental health practice they actually have in these said spiritual rituals. And then if you look at psychology, you'll notice that there is a lot of connection between spirituality and basic emotional and mental health needs and how they work together. Now, the art of psychology really does a good job of breaking down the process into pieces so we can better understand it. And my big thing is just, I don't want science going one way, spirituality going another way, when they really need to be more connected. And I think that's what I'm here for, because I understand the part of science, I understand the part of spirituality, and I am here to link the two worlds, to link the seen and the unseen. But yeah, until then, or until next time, food for thought. Start journaling. Yeah, Write down your emotions, all of them. Every time you feel an emotion, write it down. And make journaling a regular practice. You'll notice if you make journaling a regular practice and then you don't do it for a few days, it's almost like your mind's just all over the place. You're letting so much doubt in, like the shadows, the limiting beliefs, you're letting all that back in. And so just back to journaling, especially if you're someone who hates meditation. Journal. I dare you. Triple doggy dare you. Okay, have a good one, guys. I love you. Bye.